Go.
Good afternoon. I'm so glad you're with us today. We are going to be learning about quartz countertop surfaces. We seem to get the same questions over and over again. And what we tend to hear more and more is that our clients want a beautiful white marble that's defect-free with a little bit of veining that's gray or taupe, or even some gold graining or veining. But the problem is then they say, but we have teenagers or pets, or this is a second home and we sometimes rent it. We're not the neatest people. We entertain a lot. We drink red wine, and we don't want our countertops to stain. But we have found that there are some really great options. So we have spent a lot of time this year looking into these new quartz countertop surfaces, and we've really been happy with what we've been finding and what's coming out on the market. So here, just to point out to you, we have a real beautiful marble here, and these are real marble, and this is real marble, and this is real marble. And these are all quartz man-made countertops, all along the table here. These are all quartz. So what we've been finding, when they first came out years ago, they really had a little bit of a photo finish or a fake look to them. And we all loved how they looked on the websites or in pictures, but in real life, when you got up close to them, you're kind of disappointed. So what we've been finding is these new ones that are coming out are almost fooling us. So, and it's hard to fool us. So anyway, there are a lot of different players in the market now. It used to just be a few handfuls of people that made these, and now there are so many. Jody and I have traveled to the Kitchen and Bath Show in Orlando, and we go to a lot of markets in Atlanta and in Chicago and in New York, and they are popping up all over the place, and some of them we've never even heard of. There's also a lot of companies that private label their own, such as this one that we found here locally in Jacksonville on Phillips Highway at a place called Marble Today, and this happens to be one of my favorites. It's a Calcutta Borghini, and this one actually fooled me. I saw a whole slab on the wall, and I was there for a completely different reason, and I turned around and there it was on the wall, and I thought it was the real deal. So this is a quartz, and we are using it on a project, and we paired it with a porcelain tile stone floor from a completely different company. This one is actually from GBI at Tile Market, and they look so good together that you could pull off one of those super high-end white marble bathrooms, countertop, shower floor, all together, not using any real stone at all. So I don't believe that was possible just until the last year or two. So we're thrilled to pieces because everybody seems to love it and want it. So anyway, with Cambria, we have found recently that they are also offering a matte finish. And when they first came out, everybody only had the polished finish. But the matte finish is very popular with a lot of these industrial interiors and organic interiors where they don't want the high polish. So these particular ones down here are just an example of a man-made quartz countertop with a matte finish, and they're very attractive. Both of these are by Cambria. These ones are also by Cambria. They are in a polished finish, and this one here is called Ella, and it has a slightly off-white background, and it looks exactly like a real quartzite, because the real quartzites don't have a lot of the white. They have some, but it's hard to find a real quartzite that has a lot of a crisp white background. And if you do find that, it is really steep in price. So this one here is one of our favorites. And this one is by a company called Bedrosians, and it is called their Sequel series. And we have been very pleased with this one also. This one here is called Calcutta Quartz, and it has an ever so slightly blue-green tint to the veining. It's very subtle, and you only really can tell if you put a pale blue-green tile with it, then it pops the veining out in that coloration. But it's very attractive. And then another big player in the market now is actually LG. And I used to think they only made appliances, but apparently they make a little bit of everything. So now they're doing countertops, and these were 3 of our favorites. They have many, many options. But this one is Minuet, and then we've got Willow White, which has a more delicate, less crazy, less personality in the veining. And then we've got their Calcutta Marvel, which has a stronger sweep of a veining. But their veining is a little more in the gray direction rather than a taupe or a brown direction. And you can tell by looking at these samples, some of them have a whiter background. Like these ones, than these ones that have a grayer background. So this one here is by a company that you all have heard of called Zodiac. And we love their new Calcutta Natura. It looks so real and it's beautiful. So if you look at that, this is a real piece of marble that we just did in a client's powder room. And it turned out gorgeous. We picked it a year ago and we just love it, and it was worth every penny, and we're using it in a safe area where people won't be leaving lemons and red wine on it overnight. It's actually in a children's powder bath, and but you can hardly tell the difference between the two. So we were just thrilled to pieces when the Zodiac piece sample came along. And then this is another one by Sequel again. That's called Statuario Quartz, and this one again looks a lot very realistic. So let me tell you the advantages of using the man-made quartz. They are less expensive than real defect-free, beautiful white marble, probably 10 to 20%. Some of them might be a little bit less than that. But the main thing is your ongoing maintenance costs. They do not need to be sealed. With white marble, you will definitely need to be sealing every year or every couple of years. They say, I think, every year to reseal. So these do not require any sealing. They're also easier to clean because they are stain resistant. So we will definitely do better with citrus and red wine and spaghetti sauce and things like that that tend to be a problem with the white marble, and some deep colored oils like sesame oil. If you were to leave that on a white marble, you would see staining. But the man-made quartz have been coming out really well in the testing against staining. So the way to clean the man-made quartz, pretty much we asked all of these companies and a few others, and they all replied and said soap and water. They're very stain resistant, so you're not supposed to use Comet and anything really abrasive on them. So let's see, what else do you need to know? I think another advantage to this is if you're doing a really large space, and say you need 4 slabs or 5 slabs or 6 slabs of a white marble, it becomes more and more difficult to find the consistency of 5 or 6 or 7 slabs that all look good without defect. And that is another advantage to using the man-made quartz, is if you happen to be doing an airport or a school or a bank, for the commercial interior designers out there, that you obviously can order as many as you want, and you can have 100 slabs without defect and still stay in budget. So anyway, that's our little lesson today on man-made quartz, and they are definitely getting better looking. We're thrilled to pieces, and we have a lot of people asking for them. So we hope that this was helpful for you in your next design project. Thanks for joining us today.